worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome to Millennium News Hour. I am Tanzeeb Anourin. In today's bulletin, we will present top and trending news from across the nation and the world. Let's begin with the headlines of the day. Biden-Xi hold first talks in a year. Global conflicts, fentanyl and stable ties top their agenda. Biden announces 5 federal judicial nominees and stresses their varied professional backgrounds. Hunter Biden wants Trump documents subpoenaed to investigate any political pressure on criminal case. Tens of thousands joined rally for Israel in Washington, D.C. New Jersey First Lady Tammy Murphy announces run for U.S. Senate seat in 2024. NH sets presidential primary date for January 23, defying Biden's new primary order. Salman Rushdie receives first ever Lifetime Disturbing the Peace Award. Eight high school students in Las Vegas arrested on murder charges in fatal beating of classmate. Israeli troops raid Gaza's main hospital. Bangladesh sets January 7 date for elections that the opposition has vowed to boycott. India beat New Zealand by 70 runs to reach ICC Cricket World Cup final. Virat Kohli breaks Sachin Tendulkar's ODI record. And Babar steps down as Pakistan captain in all formats. You were listening to Headlines Now News in detail. President Joe Biden and China's Xi Jinping opened their first face-to-face meeting in more than a year Wednesday with a solid handshake ahead of talks with far-reaching implications for a world grappling with economic cross-currents, wars in the Middle East and Europe, tensions in Taiwan, and more. The two leaders meeting at a bucolic country estate outside San Francisco are looking to get communication back on track after a tumultuous year and to show the world that while they are global economic competitors, they are not locked in a winner-take-all face-off. Biden arrived first and awaited Xi, who got out of a black car and took Biden's hand in a warm, hand-over-hand clasp before the two leaders walked a red carpet through the state's grand entrance with a China flag on one side and a US flag on the other. 5 Marines stood in formation. The two kicked off talks discussing how important and necessary the relationship is between the two nations, particularly as the world recovers from the global pandemic. Biden said the goal of the summit was for the leaders to understand each other, and Xi said they bear heavy responsibilities for the world. For two large countries like China, United States, Turning their back on each other is not an option, she said through a translator. Planet Earth is big enough for the two countries to succeed. Biden noted that the two leaders have known each other for years but haven't always agreed, and stressed how important their in-person meeting was Wednesday. Since they last met, already fraught ties have been further strained by the US downing of a Chinese spy balloon that had traversed the continental US and by differences on the self-ruled island of Taiwan, China's hacking of a Biden official's emails, and other incidents. President Joe Biden on Wednesday announced 5 nominees to federal judgeships, including the first Muslim American on any circuit court, looking to add to more than 150 of his judicial selections who have already been confirmed to the bench. The announcements by the Democratic president are part of the White House's push to nominate diverse judges, especially those from a wide variety of professional backgrounds, and to do so even in states with Republican senators. Biden nominated Nicole Bernard, the General Counsel of the Service Employees International Union, for the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. If confirmed by the Senate, Bernard would be that court's first openly LGBTQ judge. Adil Mengi, Biden's nominee for the Third Circuit Court of Appeals, would be the first Muslim American Circuit Court judge, if confirmed. Biden nominated Judge Crystal Briscoe, who would be the first black woman and the first woman of color to serve as U.S. District Court judge in the Northern District of Indiana. He also nominated Judge Gretchen Lund, who has served on the bench for 15 years for that district, which has multiple vacancies. Judge Amy Baggio, a former assistant federal public defender, was the president's nominee for the District of Oregon. White House counsel Ed Siskel noted that the nominees include 4 women, 2 nominees from a state represented by Senate Republicans, and 3 historic first nominees. Hunter Biden asked a judge on Wednesday to approve subpoenas for documents from Donald Trump and former Justice Department officials related to whether political pressure wrongly influenced the criminal case against him. Biden's attorneys allege there were certain instances that appear to suggest incessant, improper, and partisan pressure applied by Trump to his then Attorney General William Barr and 2 top deputies, Jeffrey Rosen and Richard Donahue. While charges against President Joe Biden's son were not brought until this year, the investigation into his taxes and a gun purchase began in 2018, while Trump, a Republican, was still president. The court filing cites public comments made by Trump, information from the House panel that investigated the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol, and details from Barr's book in which he described bubbling tension after Trump tried to pressure him over the status of the Hunter Biden probe. The push for subpoenas comes as defense attorneys fight the federal firearms case filed against Hunter Biden, who is accused of breaking laws against drug users having guns. He has pleaded not guilty, and the case is on a track toward a possible trial in 2024, while his father, a Democrat who defeated Trump in 2020, is campaigning for re-election. The subpoenas would seek documents and other communications about the investigation, including its origins and charging decisions. Tens of thousands of people had joined a rally in Washington, D.C. to voice solidarity with Israel in its fight against Hamas and condemn anti-Semitism. Tuesday's March for Israel took place on the National Mall under heavy security, with senior members of Congress addressing a crowd of people waving the flags of the United States and Israel. Many raised placards calling on the Palestinian armed group Hamas to free the at least 200 people taken captive during their surprise October 7 attack, which Israeli authorities say killed more than 1,200 people. Israel's response, weeks of relentless attacks on the Hamas-run Gaza Strip, which officials there say have killed more than 11,300 people, has exposed deep divisions in the US, Israel's most staunch supporter. At the top of them all, the top Democrats in Congress, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Democratic Leader Hakeem Jeffries, stood together on stage with Republicans Mike Johnson, the House of Representatives Speaker, and Senator Johnny Ernst from the central state of Iowa. They joined hands as Schumer, the highest-ranking Jewish elected official in the U.S., chanted, "We'll stand with Israel." New Jersey First Lady Tammy Murphy on Wednesday launched a bid for the Democratic nomination for U.S. Senate in next year's contest. Her candidacy, announced Wednesday, puts her in the running to become the first woman elected to the Senate from New Jersey. The Democratic primary already features Representative Andy Kim and could include Democratic U.S. Senator Bob Menendez, who has lost significant party support amid federal bribery charges but has not ruled out a run in 2024. "We need a senator who will work every single day to lower the cost of living, protect abortion rights, end the gun violence epidemic, and defend our democracy," she said in a roughly 4-minute-long video posted online. Murphy is a constant at events alongside her husband, Democratic Governor Phil Murphy, and has taken on maternal and infant health and the environment as her top issues during her time as First Lady, issues she highlighted in her announcement. A Virginia native and University of Virginia graduate, Tammy Murphy worked in finance at Goldman Sachs alongside Phil Murphy before the couple settled in New Jersey. They have 4 children. Democrats picked up at least 5 seats in the assembly in this year's midterm legislative elections, a boon for the governor who is in the final 2 years of his second term. New Hampshire on Wednesday announced January 23 as the date of its presidential primary, setting up the second GOP contest of 2024 8 days after the Iowa caucuses, and defying President Joe Biden and the Democratic National Committee's plans to give South Carolina the party's first primary contest. The move means the Granite State will remain first on the primary calendar, but it faces punishment from the DNC, including the loss of half of its delegates to the Democratic Convention, for not following the party's new order recommended by Biden. The conflict between New Hampshire and National Democrats means Biden's name will be missing from the New Hampshire presidential primary ballot this year. New Hampshire has held its first in the nation primary status for more than a century, and in 1975 the state enacted a law that required the primary to take place at least 7 or more days before any other state. January 23 complies with our state statute, requiring our presidential primary to be at least 7 days before any similar event, and it preserves the position of the traditional Iowa caucus, New Hampshire Secretary of State David Scanlon said at a press conference Wednesday. The latest honor for Salman Rushdie was a prize kept secret until minutes before he rose from his seat to accept it. On Tuesday night, the author received the first ever Lifetime Disturbing the Peace Award, presented by the Vaclav Havel Center on Manhattan's Upper East Side. Only a handful of the more than 100 attendees had advance notice about Rushdie, whose whereabouts have largely been withheld from the general public since he was stabbed repeatedly in August of 2022 during a literary festival in western New York. "I apologize for being a mystery guest," Rushdie said Tuesday night after being introduced by reading Lolita in Tehran author Azhar Nafisi. "I don't feel at all mysterious, but it made life a little simpler." The Havel Center, founded in 2012 as the Vaclav Havel Library Foundation, is named for the Czech playwright and dissident who became the last president of Czechoslovakia after the fall of the communist regime in the late 1980s. The center has a mission to advance the legacy of Havel, who died in 2011 and was known for championing human rights and free expression. Numerous writers and diplomats attended Tuesday's ceremony, hosted by longtime CBS journalist Leslie Stahl. 8 high school students in Las Vegas between the ages of 13 and 17 have been arrested on suspicion of murder in the fatal beating of a classmate, authorities announced Tuesday at a news conference. Las Vegas Police Homicide Lieutenant Jason Johansson said investigators were still working to identify 2 more students believed to have participated in the November 1 fight that he said was over a pair of wireless headphones and a vape pen. Johansson said the local FBI office assisted with the arrest Tuesday morning of the 8 students. The 2 outstanding students will also face murder charges, he said. Authorities did not identify the students because they are juveniles. Johansson said he and his team are working with the local district attorney's office to determine if they will be charged with murder as adults. Johansson said the 17-year-old victim, Jonathan Lewis Jr., remained hospitalized with severe head trauma and other injuries until his death about a week after the fight. The coroner's office in Las Vegas ruled the beating a homicide. We will be back after a short break. Till then, stay with us. This world continuously revolving around various events. Every minute, every second, something is happening somewhere around the globe, and you want to get connected to that event or to that specific moment. Here we come, Millennium News Hour, to get you connected with top USA and international trending news, which includes local news, political news, world news, business news, health and science related news, entertainment news, sports news, and so on. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV, and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia, available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network, and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with Millennium News Hour to get the world news on your fist. Welcome back to Millennium News Hour. Now it's time for global updates. Israeli soldiers raided and combed through Gaza's main hospital in an offensive against Hamas, raising fears for thousands of patients and other civilians trapped inside. The operation at Gaza City's Al-Shifa hospital set off a wave of international condemnation. The White House renewed its concerns for the safety of civilians shortly after the raid began. The United Nations humanitarian chief demanded immediate action to rein in the carnage. The International Committee of the Red Cross said it was extremely concerned about the impact on sick and wounded people, medical staff, and civilians. World Health Organization Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus said, "We are extremely worried for their and their patients' safety." Israel said its troops killed several Hamas fighters in a clash outside the gates before entering. Israeli soldiers, some wearing face masks and shooting in the air, ordered young men to surrender, a journalist in contact with AFP reported. About 1,000 male Palestinians, their hands above their heads, were in the West Hospital courtyard, some of them stripped naked by Israeli soldiers, checking them for weapons or explosives, the journalist said. Israel said the raid was being executed based on an operational necessity, but the West Bank-based Palestinian Authority denounced it as a flagrant violation of international law. Bangladesh's expected parliamentary elections will be held on January 7, electoral authorities announced Wednesday, but the opposition reiterated its vow to boycott the polls unless the government hands power to a caretaker administration. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has pledged free and fair elections, but the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, led by Hasina's arch-rival former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia, says they don't trust the government. The opposition party has held demonstrations across the country in recent weeks to demand a non-partisan caretaker government be appointed for the election, leading to deadly clashes that have heightened fears of instability in the South Asian nation. Bangladesh Chief Election Commissioner Qazi Habibul Awal announced Wednesday that the voting would be held on a single day on January 7 in 300 parliamentary constituencies to elect members of parliament through direct vote. Consensus and solutions are needed, Awal said in a televised address. I humbly request all the political parties on behalf of the Election Commission to seek amicable solutions avoiding conflict and violence, he said. Hasina's ruling Awami League party welcomed the announcement, but Zia's party rejected the scheduled polling, saying it would not join what it called a farcical election. Zia's Bangladesh Nationalist Party held a massive rally October 28 in Dhaka to call for Hasina to resign, but Hasina rejected the call. The rally turned violent when opposition party supporters clashed with police and the police officer was killed. Now it's time for business news. Today's New York stock close price is 15,765.02. The NYSE composite is increased by 32.35 points or 0.21%. Tokyo stock close price is 33,519.70. The Nikkei 225 index is increased by 823.77 points or 2.52%. Shanghai stock close price is 3,072.83. The Shanghai index is increased by 16.76 points or 0.55%. Hong Kong stock close price is 18,079.00. The Hang Seng index is decreased by 682.14 points or 3.92%. Bombay stock close price is 65,675.93. The Sensex index is decreased by 742.06 points or 1.14%. Let's have a look on today's sports stories. Inspired by Virat Kohli and Mohammad Shami, India has overcome a valiant New Zealand fight back to enter the ICC Cricket World Cup 2023 final on home soil. India beat New Zealand by 70 runs on Wednesday in Mumbai after setting a target of 398 in the tournament's first semi-final. The result seemed a formality when India, backed by a partisan home crowd at the Wankhede Stadium, pegged back New Zealand's stiff chase by dismissing both their openers for 39 runs in the 8th over. However, Daryl Mitchell struck a hard-fought, blistering century to lead New Zealand's fight back along with his captain, Kane Williamson, who scored 69 runs in a 181-run partnership. But India, banking on the cushion of a huge total, opened the gates of the New Zealand batting with the wicket of Glenn Phillips and all but sealed the win with Mitchell's dismissal in the 46th over. Pace bowler Shami took 7 wickets to make up for dropping Williamson's catch earlier on. Shami said his team were determined not to let the chance of winning a home World Cup slip out of their hands. India's Virat Kohli has scored his 50th one-day international 100 to break fellow countryman Sachin Tendulkar's record. The former India captain hit his 50th century in the ICC Cricket World Cup semi-final against New Zealand at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai on Wednesday. Kohli reached the milestone on 106 balls. hitting 8 fours and 2 sixes in the first knockout match of the tournament. India were 71 for 1 when he arrived in the middle after captain Rohit Sharma's dismissal. Kohli celebrated his 35th birthday by scoring his 49th century, which brought him level with Tendulkar in the match against South Africa earlier this month. The Delhi-born batter reached his 50 from 59 balls with 4 boundaries and a 6, which came off Team Saudi. Kohli reached his 50th ODI 100 in his 279th match, while Tendulkar required 452 to reach 49 centuries. Rohit is third on the list of ODI century makers with 31 from 253 innings. Babar Azam said Wednesday he was resigning as Pakistan captain in all 3 formats following the team's Cricket World Cup flop, but will continue playing for the national team. Today, I am stepping down as the captain of Pakistan in all formats, Azam announced on X, formerly Twitter, after meeting Pakistan Cricket Board Chief Jakar Ashraf in Lahore. It's a difficult decision, but I feel it is the right time for this call. I will continue to represent Pakistan as a player in all 3 formats. Azam had been leading the side since November 2019, but after the failure to reach the World Cup semi-finals in India, his position was immediately under threat. I am here to support the new captain and the team with my experience and dedication, added Babar Azam. I want to express my sincere thanks to the Pakistan Cricket Board for entrusting me with this significant responsibility. Shan Masood is tipped to lead the test side while Shaheen Shafridi is the likely candidate for the white ball captaincy, but no official announcement has been made. Let's have a look on today's weather forecast. Before finishing today's news, let's hear out the headlines again. Biden-Xi hold first talks in a year. Global conflicts, fentanyl and stable ties top their agenda. Biden announces 5 federal judicial nominees and stresses their varied professional backgrounds. Hunter Biden wants Trump documents subpoenaed to investigate any political pressure on criminal case. Tens of thousands joined rally for Israel in Washington, D.C. New Jersey First Lady Tammy Murphy announces run for U.S. Senate seat in 2024. NH sets presidential primary date for January 23, defying Biden's new primary order. Salman Rushdie receives first ever Lifetime Disturbing the Peace Award. Eight high school students in Las Vegas arrested on murder charges in fatal beating of classmate. Israeli troops raid Gaza's main hospital. Bangladesh sets January 7 date for elections that the opposition has vowed to boycott. India beat New Zealand by 70 runs to reach ICC Cricket World Cup final. Virat Kohli breaks Sachin Tendulkar's ODI record. And Babar steps down as Pakistan captain in all formats. That's all for today. Keep watching Millennium News Hour for latest news update. To stay updated, like our Facebook page, subscribe our YouTube channel and visit our website. Our website address is www.millenniumnews24.com. Millennium News 24 is transmitted and available to be watched free for all LED TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with Sky Network, Worldwide Jagu TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jagu BT Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all the latest news worldwide. Thank you.